Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Birmingham. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are today, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. We invite you to this space as we celebrate Earth Day today. If you have technical difficulties throughout the week, please contact our church office and we'll be sure to get someone who can help you with your needs. To all who are here this morning, welcome home.
If you would like to participate or comment on our service, especially during the Circle of Lights, please use the chat feature in YouTube. We invite you along the way to comment on your participation. You can tell us when you're lighting the chalice and when you're singing along and share your joys and concern when the time comes. We also invite you to send virtual hugs and waves to one another, using parentheses around someone's name. After church today, we invite you into the Zoom room for coffee hour, small groups, and meetings. Please continue to watch your email for opportunities to connect with our community during this physical hiatus. And if you're not on our list, please contact Reverend Julie. The prelude prepares us for worship. Blessed is the sky and all that is warm and filled with light. Blessed is the air and all that is open and free. Blessed is the earth and all that is steady and firm. Blessed is the sky and all that is hidden and deep. If you have a chalice with you at home, please light it now and type "lighting my chalice" into the chat feature. As the first hint of green begins to peek through the barren ground, as that little sprig grows into a healthy stem, as the stem grows into a stalk and forms a bud, as that bud slowly opens with each new day to form a yellow daffodil, let us be like the first hint of green, renewed by the warmth of the sun rays, and ready to emerge with a new energy, ready to face the day. We light this chalice to bring a glimmer of that warmth into our space. Please join me in the affirmation found in your order of service, and in the chat, join me during the italicized words. Earth, teach me stillness, as the grasses are still with light. Earth, teach me suffering, as old stones suffer with memory. Earth, teach me caring, as parents who secure their young. Earth, teach me courage, as the trees which stands all alone. Earth, teach me limitation, as the ant which crawls on the ground. Earth, teach me freedom, as the eagle which soars in the sky. Earth, teach me resignation, as the leaves which die in the fall. Earth, teach me regeneration, as the seed which rises in the spring. Earth, teach me to forget myself, as melted snow forgets its life. Earth, teach me to remember kindness, as dry fields weep with rain. Let us join together in singing the hymn found in your order of service. If you like, type "singing" together in the chat.
church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of our church to change the world for the better. We share our cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values to care for marginalized persons, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for all. This month's offering will be used to help members and friends of UUCB who are affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Please be generous, as we are helping many with weekly food pantry deliveries. During this time of social distancing and online worship, please know that church expenses continue. Therefore, we very much appreciate your continuing to pay your pledge or offer your donation by either mailing a check to the church office or by using PayPal or Venmo. Our Venmo account is at UUCBHAM. Please designate whether your offering is for UUCB or if you want it shared directly with those in need during the pandemic. Thank you for your generous support of our church and our Share the Plate recipient. May we give in love and in hope.
Using the chat feature in YouTube, by speaking it aloud or by hearing it upon your heart, please share what is on your heart or mind today. We light these candles to honor the joys and sorrows you have shared with us today, and also any unspoken or joys and sorrows among us. May we keep one another in our hearts and minds as we go forth this week in love. Please take a moment to hear a spoken meditation followed by a moment of silence. In honor and reverence of our indigenous peoples, today's meditation is written by Vern Barnett. Infinite Spirit, sometimes called Grandfather, Grandmother, Father Sky, Earth Mother, Creator. We gather to praise your creation, to honor the swimmers and the crawlers, the four-leggeds and the winged ones. We give thanks for the beauty and glory of creation and open our hearts to new ways to understand our place in the universe, not as the center or focus, but a humble and balanced place where every step we take becomes a prayer, where every word we say makes harmony with the vast, vibrating cosmos, and where we know we are singing the song of life. We pray to know more deeply that we are in the garden where every plant and animal and speck of dust is a living prayer. Without our brothers and sisters of the plant and animal and mineral kingdoms, the human family would end. So we want to bless them as they bless us. We pray for humility, not to humble ourselves before presidents or priests, but before the ants and the trees. For if we cannot be in true relation to the ant, we shall be outcasts of the garden. Let us cast the pollution from our eyes so that we can see the glory and live with thanksgiving. Great Spirit, let us remember it is not how we talk, but how we walk. When we say we love animals, let us protect them. When we say that we love the plant people, let us honor them by living lightly on the earth. When we say we love the minerals, let us use them only in necessity and remember their rightful places. Oil belongs in the ground, not in the air through our wasteful machines. Wondrous trees, breathing life into the atmosphere, your gifts of fire and shelter, fruit and sailing are precious to us. And in many ways you offer us leaves of knowledge. May the vision of mutual interrelatedness, cosmic interdependence, the seamless process of generations not end in cough-filled skies blotting the sun, but rather may clear, healthy forests, wholesome water, expansive prairie, and pungent earth nourish paths for all creatures through mountain and valley and the salt sea, and through a protective atmosphere as we rejoice in the inhabitants. Hear and empower our mantra: reduce, reuse, recycle. With thanks for the surprise and mystery of it all, we pray in the name of the Creator, the processes and presences, and all our relations. Blessed be. Let us join together in the hymn found in your order of service and on your screen. If you'd like, type "Singing Together" in the chat.
All creatures of the earth and sky, come kindred, lift your voices high. Alleluia, alleluia. Bright burning sun with golden beam, soft shining moon with silver gleam. your glory also show. Alleluia, 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 alleluia.
Will the children please come forward? Hello, friends. I'm so glad you've gathered with us here today. How are you feeling? Please know that the adults in your life are here if you need us. This week includes Earth Day. And so Mrs. J and all of the RE team have put together some wonderful activities for you. Crafts and readings that have to do with Earth Week. So I hope you'll come and pick those up at the church and enjoy those activities this week in honor of Earth Day. Our story today is called Bear Came Along. And Bear Came Along is written by Richard T. Morris and is illustrated by Li Wen Pham. Once there was a river that flowed night and day, but it didn't know it was a river until Bear came along. Bear was just being curious. When he realized what the river could do, but he didn't know he was on an adventure until Froggy hopped on. Froggy was a lonely frog who was looking for a friend, but she didn't know how many she had. Until the turtles showed up. The turtles tried to warn them about the things that could go wrong, but they didn't know how to enjoy the ride. Until Beaver climbed aboard. Beaver was born to captain. He knew exactly where to go, but he didn't know about the detours until the raccoons dropped in. This is getting to be a very full log, isn't it? The raccoons were so excited about the twists and the turns ahead, but they didn't know they had to be careful until they crashed into Duck. Duck was so content being right where she was, but she didn't know there was a whole world to see. Until, oh my goodness, what is happening? Until, oh my goodness, they all see what's going to happen. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Does everyone see where our friends are at? Bear held on to Froggy. Froggy held on to the turtles. Turtles held on to Beaver. Beaver held on to raccoons. Raccoons held on to Duck. Oh, what a ride! So many different animals living their separate lives, but they didn't know they were in it together until the river came along. Now, this pandemic has been a little bit odd for all of us. We are learning to reconnect with our communities in lots of different ways. And just like Bear and his friends in the story, We didn't know how well we could work together until this time came along. There are a lot of wonderful things going on right now. Lots of people are helping out, pitching in, and helping one another. Remember to keep looking for the helpers. And remember, we're all in this together. Let's sing our children's song together now.
One, each person is worthwhile. Two, be kind in all you do. Three, we help each other learn. Four, and search for what is true. Five, all people get a vote. Six, build a just and peaceful world. Seven, we take care of the earth. That will bring us back to me and you too.
Our reading for this morning is written by Richard Gilbert and is called Beatitudes for Earth Sunday. Blessed are the heavens, for they declare the power of creation. Blessed is the earth, our beloved home, for she is a planet of plenitude. Blessed are the waters thereon, for they give rise to living things. Blessed is the land, for it is the source of life abundant. Blessed is the air we breathe, for it fires us to life and love. Blessed are the beasts of the field, for they are glorious to behold. Blessed are the birds of the air, for they carve a graceful arc in the sky. Blessed are the mountains and the seas and the valleys, for their variety makes rich our habitat. Blessed are the fields of grain, the orchards of fruit, for they give sustenance, asking nothing in return. Blessed are the dwellers on earth, for they cherish the privilege of living upon it. Blessed are they who protect the earth and her creatures, from the plants of the field to the trees of the forest, for their reward shall be harmony with the web of existence. Rejoice and be glad, for the earth and her people are one. Have you watched the History Channel show Life After People? While the show definitely highlighted changes in the animal kingdom, those striking visuals of plants taking over steel buildings in a post-apocalyptic hypothetical world really make an impact in the production. However, Life After People isn't our current situation, and yet we are witnessing huge changes to our environment and wildlife during this pandemic. It isn't the plants who are changing too much during the pandemic. If anything, our plants are better groomed and more watered and nurtured than they have been in a long time. After all, look at the lines at Lowe's and Home Depot and all of our local nurseries. If those are any indication, folks are healing from their pandemic cabin fever by ambitious landscaping and home repair projects. Perhaps gardening or landscaping has put you in touch with the earth at this time. What are changing, ecologically speaking, are the ways humans affect the air, water, soil, and other living beings. Mainly because it is harder to pollute when you are crammed inside your house all day. The skies over China are more clear than they've been in decades. Fish and swans are swimming the canals in Venice again. And the animals, oh, the animals. Without fear of humans milling about, animals all over the world are walking wherever they'd like. Check out these photos. When we talk about taking care of our earth, we think so much about the plants down on the food chain, our living foundation. Yet the animals benefit from our care of the plants, and the animals create a relatable link for us to our interdependent web. Animals remind us that lives other than human lives matter. Which animal or species reminds you of that fact? Perhaps it's a dog in your home, finally relieved that you are home more often. Perhaps it is a cat, slightly irritated that you are home more often and yet looking for more cuddles anyway. Perhaps it is an animal you can only enjoy from the webcams of the San Diego Zoo or the Georgia Aquarium, like the hippo who gave birth earlier this week. What animal do you most want future generations to experience? What animal can you not bear to see injured? My favorite animal since the beginning of time has always been the tiger. My tween room was decorated with tigers everywhere. I had a tiger calendar, tiger notebooks, tiger posters. Tigers are one of the most beautiful creatures on the planet, and also very powerful and very wild. My middle school newsletter described a girl who received a pet tiger as a present, only later having to give it up to the local zoo because it grew too large. I was so jealous. I heard about GW's zoo, the Zoo of Joe Exotic, when it was too late, after my liberal tendencies kicked in and I realized, as fun as it might be, I didn't want to participate. Years later, I was weighing taking my son to see the baby tigers. After all, when could he ever get that close? When I rode on an airplane with a woman who told me all about the inbreeding of his tigers. Since she operated a big cat rescue and was horrified about Joe's operation. I know what you're thinking. No, I was not sitting next to Carol Baskin on the airplane. But I was still crushed. This affinity to animals and all the joy and comfort they can bring to our lives can be channeled to all of nature. We relate more to the animals because they are more like us. We are so upset when they are injured or tortured or malnourished. We can pet their fur or skin and hear their unique sounds and look into their eyes. Our special animals connect us to our interdependent web of life. No wonder animals have been worshipped throughout time. Think of the cat in ancient Egypt, rats at the Karni Mata temple in India, or the snake temple in Malaysia. Loving animals and plants and fresh air and water and earth is a spiritual practice, one that we can cultivate during this time. Consider your spiritual companion animal. How do you feel when you are with it or when you look at pictures of it? Our pagan siblings call them familiars, an animal-shaped spirit. The employees at the zoos in the Tiger King documentary understand that animal affinity. All of them put up with abuse, free labor, horrible working conditions, and sexual harassment just to be near and care for these majestic creatures. They had a spiritual connection to these animals, were upset when the animals were mistreated, and were even willing to lose their own phalanges and limbs to continue working with the big cats. And maybe you aren't an animal person, but maybe you have a connection to plants in your life. Fussy and picky orchids, prickly roses, independent daffodils. Nature finds ways to invite us into connection, and it's up to us to reciprocate. This time of social distancing is inviting us into certain habits which people should have been perfecting all along. Minimizing our wasted food, using up our stores and pantries before gathering more, preparing food at home, discovering what material comforts and services we can live without. We have spiritual ancestors who have challenged us to live this way for over a century. Our transcendentalist forebears emphasized how important nature should be to our spirituality. As Barry Andrews writes in Emerson, A Spiritual Guide, the transcendentalists didn't deny the world of facts, such as stewardship of the earth, but they didn't stop there either. Andrews writes, besides a fact itself, there is consideration of what it means to us, what we make of it, the value it has, and the reality it assumes in our minds. Materialism never has the final word. Celebrating Earth Day is what the transcendentalists would call a challenge to materialism. What we do today to honor the earth matters. But more so than today, we have to consider how our actions every day reveal our values, how our actions show how we care about the earth and each other. This week we celebrate Earth Day, and we've never before celebrated it as part of quarantine. We celebrate Earth Day following days and weeks of having no other entertainment outside of our homes than taking walks, enjoying warm days, cooler days, rainy days, and springtime storms. Many are more in touch with nature than they have been in months, if not years. Our beautiful planet is not only our life source and a miracle of astrophysics, it is the home to many other living things, all which invite us to connect in spiritual ways to this blue boat on which we ride. This week, I invite you to add something to your altar to reflect the spring. A broken eggshell, a flower, a seed, a tuft of grass. If you missed our service where we built altars, please look for our service on March 15th on our YouTube channel. Take the time to search for that symbol of nature by spending time outdoors as you can. Find something outside to bring inside, to remind you of the connection we have with our earth. That connection is physical. We need air, water, soil, plants, and animals in order to survive. And it is also spiritual. We need to plug in to that life force which reminds us that spring brings new life. We know as UUs how important it is to care for the earth, And on this Earth Day, let us remember that nature is part of our spiritual journey too. Blessed be.
Please join us in our closing hymn, found in your order of service.
Low below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
We extinguish the chalice here, that it may glow gently into our hearts. May it light your path as you leave this place. May it guide you your way until we are together again.
Our closing words today are by Reverend Denise Colley. Love our earth. Take action to consume less. Use less energy. Respect water. And be cooperative, collaborative, and creative in community, like the moss and the mushrooms. Our children's lives depend on us. May you feel loved and in the heart of community until we are joyfully reunited in person. Go in peace. Okay, Etsy.